Carol Gelfer is a longtime family friend who has known my parents for 30 years. She was born and raised in Fullerton, California. She was raised Jewish and lived with her mother, father, and older sister. Carol's grandparents were very devout Jews who escaped from Europe during World War II. Their beliefs and life stories had a significant impact on her childhood and faith life. Majoring in speech communication, Carol graduated from University of California, Santa Barbara. Later, she received a master's degree in public health from San Jose State. She was a local leader in California's efforts to curb tobacco advertising to minors, and has been a public health policy consultant for over 30 years. Her husband, Joe Sullivan, is a physician at Providence Hospital. Their son Jake graduated from Cambridge University, and their daughter Ellie attends Minerva College. Today, for the Woman of Faith interview, I'll be talking with Carol Gelfer. Okay, so question 1.
Yes.
What does faith in a higher power mean to you?
So, I told you that I don't have a very traditional view of a higher power. Mm-hmm. So I was raised Jewish, and my parents were really involved. They founded our synagogue, so I went every single Friday night to synagogue growing up. And so faith in a higher power, as I've matured and grown older, includes a lot of things. It includes the community that's around me. It includes nature. It includes kind of faith in the goodness of people. It includes the feeling that there's something that is bigger than us, but I don't define it. Okay. So there's some energy, there's some, a lot of things that we don't know in that higher power, but I don't feel the need to identify exactly what it is. It's there. Mm-hmm. And by having kind of community connections, a feeling of an energy source, the feeling of we're all connected in some way and what we do matters to the next person. There's something that all fits together that creates that higher power feeling.
Why do you think it is important for people to have a religion or a faith life?
So I actually have really gotten a huge amount out of being Jewish and having that community. It's given me a lot of things. It's given me a culture that I can really identify with, and I can go virtually anywhere, and when I meet other Jews, there's something really familiar to me about that, and it's very comforting. It includes music, it includes food, it includes personalities, it includes stories. So having that religion is as much about a belief in God or a higher power. It's as much about having that feeling of culture, of closeness, of familiarity, of identity, of something that connects us again all together. And so I feel like it's really important for people to feel that they belong somewhere to something. And if religion can be that thing for people, then I think that's really great. I think it's important to, I think it's really important for people to understand that not everyone believes like they do, and if they feel a certain way, great. I'm glad it helps them, and for them to have that identity. But it's played a really important part in my life, and it also allowed me to go back with a shared history with my grandparents and other people who've experienced similar things to me. It's a connector. So if somebody has that connectedness, I know it can happen in a church or a synagogue or whatever, but I think it is important to have that connection.
What was the most significant event in your faith life, and why?
There's a lot of significant events. So I would say one of the really significant events was my bat mitzvah. which
yeah.
when I was 13, and it required a super lot of discipline and study and a lot of kind of looking at why 13-year-olds do this in the Jewish religion. And so it took a lot of, at 13,
Yeah.
that's pretty young to do all that and go before an entire congregation and learn Hebrew and read from the Torah and all the things that you do to become part of that community. So that was a really significant event in my faith life. And then, do you want me to talk about other things?
If you want to.
Okay, so one of the things that has been so important to me is my grandparents. They escaped World War II, they came here, and they had that old school culture and faith.
Yeah.
My grandfather especially was very devout, and on the Jewish high holidays he would go in his study and pray and not eat for even in his 80s. During those very special high holidays, Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah. And so I watched my grandparents, and I got from them a lot of learning and connection to my faith. So it will forever have made me the person I am by that connection to them.
Yeah. What do you wish someone had told you about life when you were my age?
I am trying to think of what I knew and what I wish someone had told me. I wish somebody had told me that the most important thing in life is the connections that you have with your family. And I think I had a great example of that with my parents, and I was extraordinarily fortunate. I wish they told me that really, 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 really excelling in your education will forever pay off. I wish that I guess I wish they would have told me that taking risks is a really good thing. I have learned that in my adult life, but it wasn't as much given to me as a young person your age. And I think that I have just felt really fortunate that I got a lot of really good lessons, but that also I think people told me this, but life does go really fast. And you do need to seize every moment and every opportunity, and don't let fear stop you. If some crazy thing happens, like you went to Boise, you said, I'm going, I'm doing this, I'm taking the risk, good for you. So I guess that's what I would say.
What words of wisdom would you like to share with me today?
I think you're very wise. I get that feeling. But if I would say words of wisdom, I would say, be bold. Do what you love. Not what other people expect you to do, but what you love and what gives you joy. Spend a lot of quality time with your family and friends. I would say that to take risks, which I mentioned before. And I would say become politically involved at a young age and care about what happens to your community and let your voice be heard. Because I think that young people sometimes don't realize how strong their voice is. And your legislators, policy things, get out there, get involved, get engaged, and let your voice be heard, because it really seriously does matter.
Okay, well, thank you for the interview.
You're welcome.